Romney comes into today's Nevada caucus leading in the polls, but battling the impression once again that he is out of touch. It all started with this remark he made to CNN's Soledad O'Brien.
I'm not concerned about the very poor. We have a safety net there. If it needs a repair, I'll fix it. I'm not concerned about the very rich. They're doing just fine. I'm concerned about the very heart of America, the 95% of Americans who right now are struggling, and I'll continue to take that message across the nation.
Newt Gingrich and President Obama's campaign team immediately jumped on that comment. Mitt Romney later said he misspoke. He may not have helped his image, though, when he made this appearance with billionaire developer Donald Trump. Trump endorsed Romney, saying he wouldn't mount an independent campaign if Mitt Romney is the Republican nominee. Joining me now to talk about the campaign for president, Democratic political strategist and CNN contributor Maria Cardona in Washington, also Republican strategist Lenny McAllister in Chicago. Maria, I do want to start with you. Are you buying that Mitt Romney said he misspoke, or do you think he's kind of backpedaling here?
Well, he's certainly backpedaling, and I will give him the fact that he misspoke, but here's the problem. It's not the first time that it's happened. It's not the second time that it's happened. It's not even the third time that it's happened. He has made these kinds of gaffes time and time again. And what it does is reinforce in the minds of voters that this is somebody who is a millionaire 200 times over, who, by the way, pays a tax rate much less than many middle-class and working-class Americans do, and that there is no way that he can even understand or relate to the struggles the middle-class families and working-class families are going through. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't even seem to care because of the gaffes that he's making, and that is going to be a real problem if he ends up being the nominee going into the general election.
Lenny, do you think that's why he was hesitant, Mitt Romney, to release his tax returns, because he didn't want the general public to know exactly how much money he was bringing in?
I think he was hesitant to do that for two reasons. Number one, he was hesitant to do that because he was afraid of being painted as the 1% versus the 99 at a time where you have the Occupy Wall Street movement going on. But number two is because he's never clarified the message as to how to explain this, how to say, I am the rich guy, as Maria likes to always say, 200 times over, millionaire, but at the same time be able to relate to working class people. The problem is he hasn't clarified that message because he's too busy making $10,000 bets at the drop of a hat. And until he gets to a point of time where he can show that he can relate to working and poor people in America and see that the human capital there is where America is going to rebound, he's not going to be able to shake that image, and that's going to be a huge problem for the Republicans moving forward if he can't shake it and if he ends up being the nominee.
Maria, what's your opinion on Ron Paul? There's been a lot of infighting, as you know, between Newt Gingrich, Mitt Romney, bickering kind of back and forth. Ron Paul seems to be the voice of reason to a lot of Republicans. Do you think he has a shot today in Nevada?
I do think that he will do better in Nevada than a lot of folks believe, or than a lot of folks are talking about or giving him credit for. Let's remember, he's got a huge base of support in Nevada, and he is focused on that base of support and on everybody around the country who thinks that he is bringing the voice of reason. The problem with Ron Paul is that his base of support doesn't really get past the percentage point that he needs in order to actually get the nomination, and I think he understands that. But what he does bring to the table, and I think what a lot of Republicans are really thirsty for, is somebody who understands their own stances, who has never flip-flopped on an issue, and who understands that you need conviction, you need principles, you need something to stand for, you need a core, which again is a big problem for Mitt Romney, because he not only makes statements talking about how he doesn't care about the poor and he doesn't understand middle-class families, but he's also somebody that Republicans don't really trust to carry conservative principles, and Americans don't trust because he's flip-flopped on every single issue that has faced this country.
I think if it ends up being Mitt Romney, Republicans, as they always do, as both sides do, will come together and support him. Lenny, if it is Mitt Romney against President Obama, does Obama have the time here to kind of put everything back together? We're talking about unemployment rates. We're talking about people out of jobs, losing their homes, you name it. Does he have a shot, Mitt Romney, against Obama? And does Obama have time to rebuild?
Mitt Romney absolutely still does have a shot against President Obama. The latest Gallup polls show that President Obama could be facing a catastrophe in November. And when you look at the mixed message from the unemployment rates, where you're hearing that the unemployment rate went down after being told on Wednesday that it was going to go up, after we have the lowest participation in the job market in 30 years, an unemployment rate for the African-American community has gone down after it being such a problem, you get these mixed messages. America wants something clear, and they want to see a clear recovery, not a whole bunch of numbers fighting against each other and the president trying to spin it. As long as you continue to get that from this administration, of course Mitt Romney has a shot, and the polls are starting to show that in a head-to-head matchup, President Obama would probably lose in November.
And Maria, it seemed as though during the State of the Union, President Obama was kind of laying out where he would go, also bringing up Mitt Romney and the extremely rich and focusing on that and what he would do for veterans and unemployed, people who are unemployed without jobs.
Absolutely, and I think that that is a critical piece of a contrast that he is going to make and the Democrats are going to make going into this election. And, you know, to Lenny's point, the unemployment rate is as low as it's been since 2008. There have been 23 straight months of private sector job creation. So those are numbers that Americans understand. It's going in the right direction. Do we need to do more? Absolutely. And you know what? President Obama is talking relentlessly about what he's doing to help middle-class families, about what he's doing to help homeowners who are upside down on their mortgages, while Mitt Romney is talking about letting the housing industry hit rock bottom and not helping homeowners who are in trouble. That is the contrast.
But Maria,
that is the contrast
Maria,
going
we have
into
seen
the election.
participation
President
rate
Obama will win.
In the job force. We've seen the participation rate in the job force at the lowest point in 30 years. So who cares if the unemployment rate's going down if people are jumping right back out of the workforce? 63.7% is the lowest, even lower.
If you're somebody who just got a job,
it's
you
been
care
even lower
about
than
that.
during the recession.
We love the different opinions,
you do care
guys.
as a nation, though.
Maria Cardona, Lenny McAllister, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so
different
much.
Points
Thank
of
you,
view.
Susan.
Thanks.
God bless.
And be sure to stay with us throughout the day for updates from Nevada. And tonight, our expanded coverage starts 6 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it with a special edition of the Situation Room. Then join Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper, and the rest of us for all those results tonight.